tonight. At the Toronto Maple Leafs. Tonight.
From the Air Canada Centre in downtown Toronto, it's the Leafs and the Boston Bruins on Leafs TV, and the artisans and the antiquated addicts tonight. Jonathan Bernier, 0-1-0 lifetime against the Boston Bruins, and Chad Johnson, the Saskatoon native, making his first ever start against Toronto. He has a lovely 4-1 record and a 1.97 goals against average in games where he has spelled Tuukka Rask. It is played down into the Toronto zone, and the Leafs go around back of the net. Here's Gunnarsson leaving it for Phaneuf. He chips it around, but cutting it off there is Hamilton. Pass in front of the net goes into the corner. Lucic centers in, it's off a skate. And now it is Raymond skating it out at center ice. Raymond plays it in over the line. Clarkson into the corner, but it is pushed ahead at center, and Krejci gives to Lucic. Lucic in over the line, dropping it back, and a long shot off the side of the net. Lucic back to the goal, trying to get in front. Played back of the net now by Phaneuf. He'll get it up on the wing, and Clarkson rolls it out and down the ice. And that's going to turn into an icing charge against Toronto.
Well, Boston, if you're ever going to play the Boston Bruins, tonight is the night with all the injuries they have. A couple of big injuries on the blue line. Of course, Thornton out for an extended period of time from last night's incident, along with Louis Eriksson, who was out last night, and Kelly as well. All from last night's game. What a mess that was.
11 Bruins have played in every game this season. As for the Maple Leafs, just 4. Dion Phaneuf, Mason Raymond, Carl Gunnarsson, and Phil Kessel playing in their 31st matches of the year. So lots of problems for the Bruins, but there won't be any crying towels handed out by the Maple Leafs for their bench. Down into the corner it goes as Clarkson unable to free it up. Change is coming. Kessel and Van Riemsdyk coming over the boards as soon as Clarkson gets to the bench, as they'll join Kadri, who's out there now. Here's Gardner. Rink wide, and Kessel's across the line. Shot it in wide of the net as Chara was there. Played around back of the net. Kadri couldn't get it in front, and it'll be Riley Smith playing it out at center for Brad Marchand. Marchand trying to slide through, and he does. And he gets a little extra shove in front of the net from Cody Franson as Jonathan Bernier freezes the puck.
And the Toronto Maple Leafs somehow have to tighten it up a little bit more. Again, 50 shots, Dallas, 50 shots against Ottawa. And more, if you take the positive out of all this, man, what a couple of unbelievable goaltending performances by both goaltenders in those games.
Since 1989, 11 teams have allowed 50 or more shots in 3 or more games in a season, and 3 of those teams are this year: Ottawa, Phoenix, and Toronto. The Leafs are 3-0 in those games. Ottawa 0-2-1, Phoenix 1-1-1. Just breaking in the equipment, I guess. Along the boards, Ashton unable to get it out. Lyles into the far corner, but Ranger is stripped of the puck. The centering pass is going to come all the way out into the center ice area. Kevin Miller fires it right back down into the Toronto zone. Ranger, the only change to the Leaf lineup, has Ranger in and Mark Fraser out. Ashton goes into the corner now against Seidenberg. The puck comes free. Ashton trying to get it out in front. He did! And Gardner coming down the chute. Couldn't get a good shot away. Cleared out at center ice. Gardner wrapping it away. And the Maple Leafs changing on the go. D'Amigo gets it ahead at center, but the Leafs can't get it into the zone with McLaren chasing. Paille plays it out into the center ice area. Cody Franson steps up at center and finds D'Amigo on the left wing. And Jerry D'Amigo, playing in his 3rd NHL game, sends it down into the Boston zone. Chip to the line, but not out. McLaren with a shot that trickled wide of the net. Hustling after it is Peter Holland for Toronto. Back to the blue line. It comes to Gardner. Gardner weaves in on the left wing, pulls the brakes on. Penalty coming to Boston. Gardner works it back out into the center ice area, and now down into his own zone. And it'll be Caron who's going to go to the penalty box, we believe. And Gardner trying to work it out. Now he'll find Mason Raymond. Raymond, nice check there by the linesman, and it's back out into the center ice area. The official down there is going to have some Absorbine Jr. on that arm. It's been up for a while, but here's the penalty.
I think it's going to be Hamilton.
Yeah, you're right. It wasn't Caron,
in front of the net. And he's going to take down D'Amigo in front of the net, trip him up as D'Amigo trying to get position to screen the goaltender. And the red-hot power play for the Toronto Maple Leafs, still second in the National Hockey League. And here's a look at Ashton here. This is what he has to do to be effective and stay in the National Hockey League. Hunt down pucks, use his size to get position, and then win puck battles. It's a good play by him.
Goes up into the Boston bench. And Marchand and Van Riemsdyk shoving a little bit.
Bit of a push there from Van Riemsdyk that Marchand did not care for a whole lot.
Apparently now it's Marchand. Even from Halifax, maybe that might have the anglicized part to it. A shot by Fraser, or by Franson is blocked. He gets it again. Can't shoot it. Gets to Phaneuf. Phaneuf to Kessel. Kessel works to the half boards, trying to stretch things out. Still with it, but he gave the puck away to Bergeron, who shoots it down the ice.
And clearly they're going to double team Phil Kessel on the half boards. They did it just there, and it worked for Boston.
Kadri across the line, slides into the corner, but Gregory Campbell gets it back at the net. It's played to the blue line, but not out. And then Franson unable to make a pass, and a bank pass comes to the line. The linesman got away. That should be a delayed offside, and it's going to be whistled down.
The first period of tonight's Leafs TV broadcast from Toronto is brought to you by Purolator, excitement delivered. By 5 Hour Energy. And by Ford, go further.
Power play with 1:11 left to go in it. Krejci won the draw, but Clarkson is able to carry it on the right wing. He gets it freed up and into the corner for Smith. Trevor Smith. And now Mason Raymond. Back to the point to Gardner, who walks the line. Dishes it back to Raymond. Raymond takes the shot. Al tries to stretch things out. Finds John Michael Lyles. Now to Gardner, into the slot, a shot! And Smith wired that wide of the goal. Gardner tries to find Raymond and does. Raymond down into the corner to Smith. Smith holds, works back to the blue line. Gardner on the near side for Lyles. Lyles at the half boards, trying to work in, then decides to come back to the half boards. A cross-ice pass. Here's a chance in front of the net for Mason Raymond! And that was blocked in front of the net by Miller. Played back to the blue line. Smith works back along the boards, being chased. Into the corner it goes to Raymond. Back to the blue line to Gardner. Gardner to Raymond. Raymond turns, being chased there by Caron. In front of the net for Clarkson. And down is Johnson. And he's got the puck underneath him, and he's going to hold on.
Well, Harry, some pretty good penalty killing there, stationary by the Boston Bruins. They're good at it. They get in the shooting lanes.
Well, they're tough to play, whether they got 5 skaters or 4 on the ice, and the defensemen do a good job of tying up or bumping out of the way anybody in front of the net.
Clarkson and Miller's hand maybe taking that shot. It was the first regular season Sunday home game for the Maple Leafs since February 23rd of 2003. The Leafs lost to the Nashville Predators that night. And Dennis LaRue refereed that game, and he's here tonight. Savannah, Georgia, along with Tim Peel of Toronto, Kyle Murchison of Cloverdale, BC, and Mike Civic of Calgary are the linesmen. Here's Kuhlman. Into the corner it goes to Carter Ashton. Ashton working back along the boards. The penalty has expired. Kuhlman into the corner, ties up his man as it comes free. Ashton getting it back to the blue line. Standing in there was Ranger, and he was able to reach around and recover the puck. Now Kuhlman with a nice little pass from McClement into the shot, backhand shot, going to the net. Where is it? They bang around at it. Johnson down, and he's got his pads out over the goal line. Is the puck underneath one of those?
I think the puck's behind the net underneath.
It might be.
He lets out a great big fat juicy rebound, and as soon as that happened, the Leafs did a very good job of following the play in. Kuhlman takes the puck wide, takes a check to make a play, and there is that huge rebound, and Gunnarsson flies into the net as well, looking for the loose puck, and that's a rebound that Johnson can't let out from a shot from the half boards and a harmless-looking play from Kuhlman to start it off.
Face off to the left of Johnson. Trevor Smith lost the draw. It comes up on the right wing side. Skating it out there was Riley Smith. He took a hit and it shot down into the Toronto zone. Franson back of the net for Gardner. Wrapped around the boards. It comes up on the wing for Mason Raymond. Raymond was able to get it away there from Smith, or from Riley Smith, and it's down into the Boston zone. It's centered in front, and Trevor Smith just failed to redirect that as Clarkson is into it with Dougie Hamilton, and then Chara comes over and puts the bear hug on Clarkson.
Well, when Chara puts the bear hug on, you're not going anywhere, that's for sure.
As Chara sticks up for the youngster Hamilton. And it all started here with some contact there as Hamilton gives Clarkson a ride and then pushes back. And Chara will come right in and say, you're not going to go after that kid. Not before you go through me.
Well, will there be 2 penalties or 3? We'll sort it out when we come back. No score.
Last night was not a particularly good night for hockey if you're watching Pittsburgh and Boston, and then there is Louis Eriksson that gets nailed by Orpik, gets challenged by Thornton, nothing happens, and then there is the incident that I'm sure everybody has seen by now, and Thornton's going to be suspended for an extended period of time for that. There is no doubt about that. And there is also a slash by Dupuis that took Chris Kelly out of the game, and of course the James Neal attempted knee on Brad Marchand, and that's going to be reviewed also.
Claude Julien telling the media prior to tonight's game disagreed with Dan Bilesmeister the legality of the check and mentioned about Sean Thornton, and Sean basically was wrong and will have to pay the price for it, as will the Boston Bruins.
Clarkson and Chara are the only ones getting penalties, and how Dougie Hamilton doesn't end up in the box, I don't know. But here's McClement in over the line now with a pass into the slot, and Kuhlman going hard to the net, had it go wide. Kuhlman loses it back to the goal, and David Krejci will circle back to gain some skating room and now starts out. There's the veteran bringing it through center. Krejci hits the Toronto line, protects the puck as he got it into the corner. Krejci turns, back to the blue line it goes. Seidenberg peppers it around the dasher board to the near side. Pinching down there is Torrey Krug. It comes free, and it is chipped out at center ice, and it is Paul Ranger into the rush. A lone Ranger it is, and along the boards.
Where's Tonto?
I don't know, he was open for him to go to the net. Around back of the goal, it's played in front. Here's Seidenberg, working in over the line. He is taken to the boards and effectively losing the puck for Kadri. Played on the wall and dumped out into the center ice area by Lyles. Kadri unable to get to it. Back come the Bruins. No score in the game. Iginla gets the pass on the right wing. Trying to play it back for Ryan Spooner. Spooner allowed to come out in front. Got it free again. Got the shot away and it was blocked by Kessel. Lyles along the boards. One hands it ahead and out come the Maple Leafs. Led by Kessel. Kessel's in over the line. Whipped the shot and he missed the net by 10 feet. It comes back to the blue line to Gardner. Gardner sends it in weak and wide, and it's grabbed off there by Hamilton. Hamilton to the near boards. Bartkowski in across the line. He'll drop it off. Marchand along the boards, loses it, and the penalty box door opens, and out comes Clarkson and Chara. Franson ahead to Raymond. Raymond down the left wing, dropping for Van Riemsdyk. A long shot steered wide by Johnson. Played to the blue line and out. Here's a chance for Carroll, trying to get around Gardner. Carroll taken into the corner. Gardner stops him, then they got a shot that was stopped on the short side. And turning back with it now is Holland. Leaving it there for Franson. Ranson plays it high off the boards to center. D'Amigo couldn't track that down. Seidenberg gets it to the blue line. Loose puck now to Holland. A shot is blocked there before it reached the net off Kevin Miller. Back to the net it goes for Jerry D'Amigo. D'Amigo upended but gets it back to the blue line. Holland unable to keep it in the first time. Now he does get some assistance, but it trickles out at center ice, and D'Amigo will find Holland, who rattles it right back in again. Almost to the midpoint of the first period. Jerry D'Amigo trying to shoot it in, gets it in over the line, and Seidenberg will backpedal in his own zone. Second meeting between these two teams this year. The Leafs losing 3-1 in Boston earlier on. At center ice, Van Riemsdyk couldn't get away. Krug sends it off on the left wing side. Brought into the blue line by Bartkowski. Dropped for Lucic. He'll play it into the far corner for Krejci. Krejci chased. It comes into the slot. The shot just off the mark wide. Lucic back to the blue line. Another long drive, and it is smothered by Bernier and held for a face-off. Leafs TV proud to present Molson Canadian Leaf Hockey from the ACC in downtown. It is time for the keys to the game, brought to you by Tim Hortons, the official coffee of the NHL.
Well, for the Boston Bruins, they're a strong face-off team, puck possession team because of it. Yeah, they want to pressure the Leaf defense in the forecheck with their big bodies. As for the Maple Leafs, they don't want to get into the trading chances game against the Bruins. And, yep, as always, Kessel versus Chara. We've seen that many times.
Well, in the defensive zone, the Toronto Maple Leafs have to be much better of, taking man and communicate. Spooner walks right out of the corner and almost right through to the front of the net as Paul Ranger goes down to block his or impede his forward progress, but got to be better than that.
Shots are 4-3 in favor of the Bruins. As pass by Lyles comes to center. Kadri just stayed on side. The shot went wide of the net by Kessel. Brought out the other way now by Boston. Smith plays it to the side of the goal. Played back and another shot. Whoa! Bernier trying to scramble back after giving the puck away. The Leafs push it ahead for Van Riemsdyk. Van Riemsdyk in across the line, but he couldn't split the defense. Kessel stopped it back of the net, but Bergeron is there for Boston. Long rink-wide pass. Here's Riley Smith, the Toronto native, in over the line. Trying to go into the corner, he does. Centers in front, a shot, and that's blocked before it reached the goal. Branson against the boards, gets it up on the wing for Kessel. Kessel got it back to the blue line, but it is cleared back into the corner. Smith losing it. Branson off the boards. It'll come to the blue line, but not out. Long shot wide of the net. Branson couldn't get to it. Down the boards comes Bartkowski with a centering pass, and it is corralled finally by Van Riemsdyk. And Van Riemsdyk brings it out at center. He'll one-hand it over the line as the Leafs are changing. And an icing charge coming here against the Boston Bruins as it will come back down into the Bruins zone with 8:34 to go.
Well, the Bruins do a pretty good job of getting out of the forecheck for the first time with some sustained pressure. However, the Leafs do a better job of holding their positions defensively. And although Boston spent a lot of time in the Leaf zone, there really wasn't much damage done.
Draw to the right, one cleanly by Smith. The drive off the toe of the pad of Johnson. As Ranger got all of that from the blue line. Ranger pinches to keep it in. Backhands it high into the near corner. Mason Raymond trying to elude one. Gets around another. Spooner chasing him. It comes free to Smith. Side of the net then for Clarkson, who was bumped off the disc. And they'll play it around to the far side. Carl Soderberg gets it out at center ice for the Bruins. Ranger up on the left wing for Raymond. Raymond with speed in on the left wing with a shot. A big juicy rebound. And Clarkson failed to get to it in time. Shot back out into the center ice area. Gardner. A little move there to deflect it in with his skate. Has it again. Gardner with a shot. Blocked. Two for the price of one. Hit the post. Score! Peter Holland at the side of the net.
Almost looked like this goal was in the first time from the half boards. We'll have to have another look at it. All starts with Gardner with good entry into the zone. The Leafs win the battle, and then he's going to fire it here. Doesn't get through. I thought that second attempt by Gardner might have gone in, but nevertheless, The Leafs go to the net afterwards. There's the second shot. Nope, goes the side of the net. And then two things that happen there. Holland goes to that well, and David Clarkson as well is right there also. And with Clarkson going to the net front, he makes sure that he takes the eyes away from the goaltender, and then Holland can pick up that loose puck, and Johnson never picks it up till it's behind him.
So it is 1-0 Toronto. Peter Holland with his third goal of the season. And Gardner and Raymond draw the assist. There's a shot that Johnson is able to cover up on, and we get some more shoving at the side of the net. And now Carter Ashton has his helmet pried off and is getting a little extra shove by Milan Lucic and Jerome McGinley. And nothing more will develop.
Tonight's Leafs TV broadcast from Toronto is brought to you by Molson Canadian, diehard fan and proud partner of the Leafs.
Zdeno Chara, 6'9". He's one of the only hockey players I've ever heard of who climbed Mount Kilimanjaro.
Really?
He did it in 26 strides.
Done it. He is a fitness nut, and remember, he wrestles. His dad was an Olympic wrestler, and can you imagine grappling with him in the offseason? Here's a loose puck in front of the goal, and McClement couldn't tap it by. Ashton and Kuhlman out there. Enough with a pass ahead. McClement with a bouncing disc on the wing. It goes to Carter Ashton. He gets it in over the line, gets it handed back to him, and then had Hamilton intercept his shoot-around. Brought back out at center ice by Bartkowski. A pass intercepted by Phaneuf. Dion Phaneuf gets it out into the center ice area. Delayed offside as Carl Gunnarsson reaches the red line and shoots it in. Bruins are around back of the net. And Bartkowski coming to center. He'll dump it into the near corner. And Ranson with a quick up on the wing for Van Riemsdyk. And unable to break there was Kadri, and it's back in the Toronto zone.
The Leafs want to just keep throwing the puck at young Johnson. Characteristic of all younger goalies that they tend to let a few more rebounds out than veterans. And of course, his partner, Tuukka Rask, might be the best rebound control goalie in the league. He's certainly one of them.
Bergeron's shot went wide, and a penalty is coming here to Toronto for hooking. So the Leafs are going to be a man short. 6:11 to play in the period. And it'll be the first power play of the game for the Boston Bruins.
And right by the blue line on the backside pressure here, Kadri there just gets just for a second under the arm. And doesn't take much anymore.
13:49 the time of the infraction. The Leafs got lots of practice at penalty killing last night. 8.
And McClement was in the box for one of those goals, not on the ice for the other, so he was a perfect 6 for 6.
Back to the point, it comes to the near side, and a drive by Krug is knocked away by Phaneuf. Played off the boards and out and down the ice. McClement leads all players in the NHL in penalty killing ice time with 125 minutes and 32 seconds. The next 9 are defensemen, as Phaneuf is able to shoot that out and down the ice again.
One of the few teams who use a defenseman on the power play. Chara will go to the front of the net. You're lucky to see the end of the rink when he's there, never mind the net. And you're not going to move him out of the way, that's for sure.
No, not without a forklift. Along the boards now is D'Amigo. Tied up and knocked down. It comes back to the blue line. Here's Iginla. Iginla saucers it back to Krug over on the far side, and a shot. And Bernier saw that around the legs of Chara. It's chipped to the blue line, and now Mason Raymond starts back. Krug is the defender, and Raymond gets it down into the zone, and then narrowly missed getting penalized there as he tried to reach around Krug. Chara heading to the bench as it's in on the wing. Marchand gets it back to the blue line. Broken up by Phaneuf. Tried to ice it, and it was blocked. Down goes Bergeron, but the DNA evidence was let go by Van Riemsdyk. I'm not sure Matlock could have got him off for that. Played out to the line and out at center ice.
Al Eagleson could have.
On the right wing side, Hamilton taken to the boards. Penalty has 20 seconds left in it. Side of the goal for Bergeron. Back into the slot. Marchand fanned on it. Gets it back to the point. Hamilton fanned on it. Jay McClement rolls it into the area where the goaltender can't play it.
Those guys got no chance from the Red Sox.
Or the Boston Lobsters.
Played into the offside. Toronto blue line. Penalty is over. The Leafs have a 1-0 lead.
Zdeno Chara has a great big shot from the point normally, a heavy shot, but the Bruins have elected to put him in front, obviously, because you can't move him, and he does such a great job screening. Also, you got Torrey Krug now on the back end, and he's got 7 goals and 16 points on the season as well, a very offensively gifted defenseman. That allows him to put Chara in front. And Bob McGill, I don't know how the heck you ever move a guy like this if you're a defenseman. As a former defenseman, I guess you just chop him on the legs. I don't know what you do.
Well, the big thing is as he comes towards it, you got to try and box him out where you get body position first. That's the only way, or only hope you've got of trying to keep him out of there.
Good luck with that.
6'9", 260, pretty scary.
4 minutes to play first period. Seidenberg gets it into the corner. Here's Chara playing it ahead at center. Campbell turns back. Onto the left wing side for Paille and down into the Toronto zone. Bergeron, or at least Bernier couldn't trap it back to the net. Campbell is into the corner trying to center. He did! Coming to the net hard and was Caron, but he was stopped by Bernier. Against the boards near side, Carter Ashton trying to dig it free. Ranger sends it to the line, not out. Seidenberg to the far side, gets it handed back to him. A shot stopped by Bernier. There's a bouncing puck in front. Paille skated right by it. Kuhlman carries to center and in. Ashton trails. Kuhlman the drag move to the front of the goal, and it trickles harmlessly wide and back of the net. Launched high, and too high as it turned out. That Fraser shows that he's not going to make any basketball team there in Boston. And it's back played in front of the net by Krejci.
Watching Gregory Campbell skate around is one of the few games Father Colin won't be in the attendance tonight.
Krejci rolls to the net, stopped by Bernier on the short side.
He's at the governor's meetings. Well, he won't be around watching this one. I'm sure he's love to be here watching Gregory play. You know, Gregory's sisters and Heather will be somewhere around this rink, though.
Now here's a chance for Kessel working in with a shot, and that was stopped. Played into the corner and around the boards. They battle for it. Kessel gets it freed up. Kadri to the point. Fanuk fired it wide of the goal. Lucic overskated it. Played by Chara ahead, and here's the veteran Iginla to center ice. Iginla shoots it down into the Toronto zone. Smith being challenged there by Soderberg. It comes free for Carl Gunnarsson. Gunnarsson with a long pass, and here's Raymond across the line. Rink wide. Clarkson shot off the skate of Seidenberg and went wide. Clarkson in along the boards, trying to drag it along back. He did, and he swept it out in front and it went wide. Lyles pinches to keep it in, but now is down in the corner. An errant pass, and Smith got back to block it and play it out into the center ice area, backing up for Lyles on the pinch. Seidenberg with a long shoot-in. 1.5 now to go in the first period.
Broke the stick, left his glove on the ice, and took off Seidenberg after that effort.
Check to see if he's still got his athletic support on.
They got an offside at the blue line while we clean up the debris.
Leafs fans, Rogers and Fido Wireless customers now have more chances to win with the Leafs. Every game day, you can text Leafs to 555 for a chance to win monthly prizes, which include Maple Leaf tickets and autographed team jerseys.
Well, it's a bit of a belated happy birthday, but nonetheless, John Bauer, 89 years young.
Boy, I thought I was old when I found my original Social Security card with only 2 numbers. He's only got 1.
That's right. Yeah, and looking spry and healthy as ever.
Yes, he does.
And a big hello to Nancy back home, who keeps that young man under somewhat control. Here's a pass now for Van Riemsdyk. Van Riemsdyk in with a shot. That was blocked. Trying to find it there was Kevin Miller, and he plays it into the corner where Kadri arrives. Got it along the boards for Kessel. Now back of the net it goes. Off the boards to Gardner at the blue line. Saucered in, but it was intercepted, and then the pass went off Kadri's skate. Franson rattles it back down into Boston territory. 40 seconds to go in the period. 1 goal has been scored. Chip down into the Toronto zone off the stick of Bergeron. Enough eludes a hit. Finds Gardner. Gardner gets it to McClement. McClement gets it on to Carter Ashton. Ashton going wide with a little room. Tried to play it in front. It hit the side of the goal. Kuhlman tried to come up the other side. Now onto the wing. Can't get it in front with a dozen seconds to go. Rolled it in front of the goal, backhand. And McClement's shot hit the side of the net. He's dragged down into the corner there by Caron. And the final seconds are ticking down without another shot developing. Pretty solid period for the Maple Leafs, who outshoot the Bruins 11-10. And that young man right there, Peter Holland.
First intermission tonight from Toronto is brought to you by Ford. Go further.
Welcome back to the Air Canada Centre. The goal scorer was Peter Holland, and it came from Gardner and Raymond at 12:20. Leads with a 1-0 lead as you get another look at it here.
Good breakout, and Gardner jumps up into the play after Raymond does a nice job keeping the puck in. He'll just throw it towards the net. Clarkson goes to the net. Holland goes by the post and then stops and comes back, and the puck arrives on his stick to give the Leafs the only goal of the period.
And directed at the net. It was blocked, and ones that missed the goal. The Leafs outchanced 26-18. The Bruins with a shot by Smith went just wide. Here's Gunnarsson playing it off the skate of Raymond. Raymond and Nicky played a Panuka shot, and that was deflected in front of the net wide of the goal. Bounced to the line, but not out. Cleared high into the corner once more. Miller trying to free it up, and he does to Lucic. Lucic gets it out at center. Krejci dropping it back, and it's brought in over the line. A long shot by Lucic went over top of the net. Lucic into the corner with Raymond chasing him. Back to the blue line to Miller. Miller got away from one, but the shot ramps up off the stick of Smith and out of play.
Dion Phaneuf wears a visor. I'm glad to see that. I can't understand no one not wearing one. Even the kamikaze pilots wore helmets.
They did. But the one thing, Phaneuf really left the game last night and was banged up a little bit. He left the warm-up early today too, Harry. And there was some concern that he might not be able to answer the bell, but he has been a rugged sort in a Leaf uniform. Other than that injury that cost him a lot of playing time when he got cut, he has been a valuable part of the Leaf defense, and he leads them in plus-minus. And the bouncing puck in front of the net is cleared up on the wing, and out comes Van Riemsdyk. Facing Chara, he shoots it into the zone. Kessel hustling after it. All of them skated right by it. It's played to an open corner. Marchand along the boards, loses it. It's centering pass then by Gardner. Comes to the near wing. Riley Smith played with the St. Michael's Buzzers before going to the Miami University Red Hawks. Toronto native. Played out into the center ice area and onto the left wing side now for Krug. Krug drop pass and a shot stopped there by Bernier. Round back of the net. Gardner trying to find some room, and Van Riemsdyk got tangled up with the forecheck. Both players to the ice, but the puck comes out at center. Kessel can't get it in.
By the way, the Boston Bruins down to 5D as Hamilton will not return for them. So the injury bug continues for Boston at the moment.
The second period of tonight's Leafs TV broadcast from Toronto is brought to you by Tim Hortons, official coffee of the NHL. By Just Energy, energy made easy. And think you know the Maple Leafs? Well, prove it. Predict game day action for a chance to win season tickets for the Maple Leafs. Visit mapleleafs.com/lastfanstanding to learn more.
Last night in Ottawa, it was a sea of blue. I don't think I've ever seen that many Leaf fans in the Ottawa rink. As it's brought out at center ice now by Spooner. He gets across the line. Ranger broke it up, but it is brought on now by Soderberg. Centering pass blocked. Rebound side of the net. Way out of the net. Scoop it up with the glove is Jonathan Bernier. He'll bring a face-off in the Toronto zone.
Well, the Boston Bruins have on their current roster of 13 players that were there to earn Stanley Cup rings a year or two ago.
They have had a veteran group throughout. The Leafs are the third youngest team in the National Hockey League at this particular point. Hoping to get some people out of the infirmary. Joffrey Lupo-Henny has been skating and getting closer.
He looked good today, stayed out late after practice today. We thought there was a chance he might play, but beyond this, they don't play till Wednesday, so good chance to continue that improvement, Joe.
There's Fraser McLaren rolling it into the corner. Seidenberg goes back after it. Ran into traffic, and Holland comes out with the puck. Into the corner now, D'Amigo couldn't get it in front. Holland tries to snap it, he does, and it goes right through the blue paint. Kept alive by John Michael Lyle, but cut off and brought out now by Bartkowski. He plays it to the Leaf blue line, and Holland is there in traffic. Able to stick handle his way around Caron and gets it ahead, and here's D'Amigo bringing it in. Jerry D'Amigo thinks about driving the net, tried to make a spinning move to play it in front, gets it handed back to himself. Along the boards it goes off Holland's stick, and the Bruins have it now, and it is Miller looking to outlet and does. Through the line for Iginla. Former Calgary Flame got it across the line, and it's played out at center ice. Iginla at the trade deadline looked like he was going to be a Boston Bruin, then opted for the Pittsburgh Penguins, and then just to show you there was no hard feelings, signed with Boston in the offseason.
Big night for him coming up as the Boston Bruins travel to Calgary for their next game.
There he is with the puck, sending it back.
And you know they'll be excited in that market to begin to come back for the first time.
Miller sends it in. Bernier pumps it back around the boards. It comes back to Chara at the blue line. A wrist shot is blocked in front by Phaneuf. He tries to get it ahead, and Chara was able to get in front of Raymond. Phaneuf and Carl Gunnarsson. They exchange the disc, and it's up on the wing, and on the side it's Raymond going to the front. David Clarkson a shot, and Raymond coming across. Lost an edge when he might have had a chance to backhand that for the goal. Krug dropping it back for Chara. Chara steps back and gets it up on the wing for Lucic. Lucic sends it in after Franson got in his way. And now Gardner trying to skate it out, does to Kuhlman. Kuhlman, ahead it goes for Carter Ashton. And that is ramped up off a stick into the screen and out of play. 15:26 to go in the second period.
So far, the Leafs have done a pretty good job surviving through this difficult stretch in terms of their schedule, but it doesn't get any easier. As they got the Bruins tonight, then you got the Kings and the Blues in St. Louis, then back against the Blackhawks. It's a hefty dose of pretty good Western Conference teams. And here's this chance here. Ashton gets away a little bit, or that was the other one by Clarkson, sorry, in the block by the Bruins.
Played out in center ice, now brought in over the line by Bergeron. Tied up and cleared by Gardner, and shot into the crowd. Or was it? The linesman is saying, yeah, it went straight up into the seats, and Carter Ashton is going to the penalty box.
That's a tough call because it used to be if you thought the guy did it on purpose, you gave him a penalty. Now, if it's totally accidental, it makes no difference. You're gone for 2 or less.
Sits in the player's bench, you're all right, but this puck doesn't. It rolls right off Ashton's stick and then right over top behind the Boston Bruin bench.
4:50 the time of the penalty. The Bruins are 0 for 1 on the power play. 2 of their 12 shots came with a man advantage in the first period. Ashton for delay of game. Played on the backhand to the blue line. Seidenberg over to Smith. Smith back to Seidenberg. Seidenberg to the far side. A shot blocked. There's a rebound off the chest of Bernier. He he had to extend himself to all of his 5 feet 11 to take that almost off the bib of the mask.
The Bruins are a good face-off team, and yet they won 63%. The Leafs did in period number 1. Now McClement wins that draw, but the Leafs don't gain puck possession because Boston jumps off the dot, and then that ends up coming up with a pretty good chance on Bernier. And it's tough when you win the draw like McClement did then, that last play, and then wins it again this time. Enough in good position, doesn't get it out.
Doesn't get it out. Far side for Bergeron. Bergeron with a pass off his skate. Centering pass, they score! Carl Soderberg off to the side. The Dion Phaneuf inability to ice the puck. And the Bruins have tied the game.
The Leafs win both draws. And both times they don't get the puck out. They get away with it the first time. The second time, they're not so lucky. Phaneuf here tries to get it out. Good play by the Bruins to keep the puck in the line. And a little give and go as everybody's running. As soon as you give the puck away like that as penalty killers, you never really get set. And Seidenberg does an unbelievable job keeping it in here. A little backhand pass. Bergeron, who he does so well, finds the winger. And then a beautiful pass by Smith to the front of the net. And Soderberg, who is a great story in himself, gives the Bruins the tie.
A long shot by Phaneuf is gloved by Johnson. And there'll be a face-off in the Boston zone. Smith and Bergeron get the assists.
And Soderberg didn't come to the National Hockey League until he was 28 years of age. Felt that he just wasn't ready, and originally a St. Louis Blues pick. And he hurt his eye in Sweden to the point where he didn't play hockey for a full year. And they tell me he has hardly any vision out of the one eye, but is able to play still in the National Hockey League. It's an amazing story that he's even in the league.
Out here the Bruins, Lucic driving the net. And it is into the corner now, a centering pass, and a penalty is coming to Toronto.
It's going to be on the hold, I believe, is what they're going to call here on Gunnarsson when Lucic is going in on the breakaway. Right off the draw, a blocked shot. Now Gunnarsson takes off, and there's the hold. And he grabs Iginla trying to go to the net, and that's why he's in the penalty box.
Jarome Iginla, what a career he's had. 2 times 50 goals or more, 2 times 40 or more. He's only missed 4 games in the last 516 he's played. That's the old story. Boxes go gray, but some of them don't get old.
Oh, they don't. Played off the boards in front of the net. Phaneuf trying to shoot it out. That hit McClement, and it is still in the zone, and now McClement decides I'd better get rid of this thing and sends it out and down the ice. Third power play of the game for Boston, who have tied it here in the second period with the man advantage. Onto the left wing side, Marchand drops it back. Seidenberg in front of the net, battling for it. It comes to the side of the net, scooped into the corner by Bernier. Out is Ranger, and he quickly finds an opening between the defense to send it the length of the ice. Riley Smith skates it up at center. That went off the stick of the Leaf player. No icing. Played high on the boards by Bernier, but it's maintained by Boston. Chara down into the corner. Dishes it off. It's centered in front of the net for Lucic. Dropping it back. Pass in front for Chara. And he may have showed you that he's a defenseman there. He didn't handle that very well. And now here's Krejci. Krejci back to the far side. Krug lets the shot go. He scores! Torrey Krug, what a story he was last year in the postseason, and he's got a bullet.
Oh, he can really wire it. That's why, as I mentioned in the first period, they can put Chara in front of the net because they got the big bomb now by this young kid. And the Leafs again have a difficult time getting it out of the zone. And here comes the blast. Here's the chance where they could have got it out. Raymond had a chance to get it out. He delays for that split second, and Lucic keeps it in. And now this kid just walks right to the top of the circle, and Chara in front of Jonathan Bernier, sorry, and I don't think Bernier really saw this at all. And it might have, it didn't hit his stick, but certainly he took the eyes right away from Bernier. And then he just wires. What a shot.
It's his 8th goal of the year.
Krug makes it 2-1. Krejci and Lucic with the assist. Bruins pressing again. Bernier gets a face-off in the Toronto zone. So 2 power play goals, a little over a minute apart. And it's 2-1 Boston.
Coach Carl, I'm sure, really frustrated with the penalty kill. The Bruins now, that's their 4th power play goal against the Leafs this season in the 2 games, and the Leafs have given up 13 goals against in 8 games. Power play goals, and here's a look at the 2 tonight. And there's 2 things to that story. Number 1, we got to get better in the penalty kill, obviously. And number 2, you better start staying out of the box a little more than the Leafs had. And even last night, they took some careless penalties in the 3rd period and let Ottawa get back in the game also.
That's the easiest way to improve your penalty minutes.
Draw to the left of Bernier. Torrey Krug played 1 game last year in this lockout-shortened season. And then in the playoffs, played 15 games and had 4 goals and 2 assists. Bernier covering up on that and holds on. Now, his 8th goal of the year tonight, and on the power play, that's number 4, Krug.
Well, he's been a nice addition, and not very often do you come up in your first year in the league and play as well as he did in the playoffs, and he's continuing in league play, obviously.
Michigan State Spartan, he must have been pretty excited yesterday with the big win over Ohio State.
And there are his current statistics. 22 years old. Looks like he's about 18 in that picture.
Livonia, Michigan.
Mike Modano's hometown.
To the corner, Kadri hits it ahead for Kessel. Played up off the stick of Van Riemsdyk, and now Ranger being pressured in there by Matt Fraser, and it is dragged out by Kadri. Rink-wide pass. The 17-foot-long stick of Chara got in the way of that. Here's Bergeron. Pass ahead, intercepted by Lyles. Offside. Van Riemsdyk got tied up over there and didn't get back.
Yeah, and the other side of the early penalty trouble by the Leafs in the 2nd period, the big boys for the Leafs have been sitting on the bench. So if you think they're having a little bit of a difficult time getting going here, this is probably what, their 2nd shift of the period. And they go offside there.
Clarkson comes on with Smith and Raymond. As it's punched down into the Boston zone, Miller against the boards was able to free it up. Marchand gets it down into the Toronto end. Marchand going in there with Gardner. Around on the boards it comes to Cody Franson. Franson's pass finds Clarkson. Clarkson on the wing to Raymond. Clarkson going to the front of the net. Raymond's shot went wide. Kept in by Toronto at the blue line. And now falling, and here's Raymond with it. Over on the far side for Gardner. Just kept in, but it'll be played by the Bruins out at center ice. Marchand brings it in over the line. On the left wing side, Bratkowski plays it around back of the net, and it'll be Clarkson losing it there. Here's Bergeron with it, playing it in front of the net. Clarkson gets his stick slashed and broken. And in disbelieving, he heads to the bench that there wasn't a penalty call. Kessel got it in over the line, quickly played right back out again. The debris in the way of that. Here's Franson. Plays it up on the left wing. Van Riemsdyk to the line, and the shot into the chest of Johnson, held by the Boston netminder.
Clarkson was upset. He thought that he was slashed and his stick broke, and he was. That's a penalty, and there's no doubt about it. He's got a pretty good case. In fact, he's got a real good case, and he can't believe it.
So the face-off to the right of Chad Johnson.
The Boston Bruins have the best team goals against in the National Hockey League. They give up 1.97 goals per game. Not bad.
Nope. From draw, won by Krejci, played out. Lyles shoots it back in. They tag up and go into the forecheck. Krug punching it around on the boards, cut off there by Fraser McLaren, and it's back into the near corner. Krug can't get it out against Holland initially. McLaren into the forecheck. Campbell playing it back. And the Bruins get it up on the wing, but are unable to get it into the Leaf zone with pass coming out at center now, and here's Holland across the line. Holland into the corner. Holland back to the blue line to Lyles. Lyles with the shot directed wide. Holland's back to the net with it now. Domingo's in front of the net. Ranger gives it back to Holland. Holland closes in with a shot that was blocked. He gets it again. Holland loses it. It'll bounce out into the center ice area. Things are going to change. Lyles turns back in his own zone. Got it ahead. Kessel's across the line. Trying to find Van Riemsdyk, does. Holland comes in. And he shot wide. And they're going to call it a glove pass. The Bruins have taken the lead in the second period. Soderberg and Krug on the power play, 2-1.
Welcome back to the Air Canada Centre midway through this hockey game here in the second period. Titan Equity Group Limited is a proud partner of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Dream big, invest in your future securely. More on the Boston Bruins head coach, Claude Julien. Let's go upstairs to Harry.
17 of the 82 games Boston plays this year are in the afternoon, and I asked Claude before the game what he thought of that. He says, I don't mind it. He says, I don't have to check the curfews then.
That's right. He keeps an eye open. He's done a marvelous job behind that bench, though, hasn't he?
Yes, he has.
Pass on the left wing side. Seidenberg with a long shoot in that Bernier takes on the chest and is forced to hold.
And Mr. Julien will be part of Team Canada's Olympic Games coming up quickly.
Yes, they are in February.
And that management group just finished their meetings this week to continue to discuss who's going to make the Canadian Olympic team. If you look at Claude Julien's record, he's done a nice job in Boston.
Bruins are quite happy it didn't work out in his last stop, though, aren't they? Played to the blue line. Miller's shot deflects wide. Side of the net for Phaneuf. Another broken stick, and Clarkson's broken another stick, or had his stick broken. Played out at center ice now for Raymond. Raymond launches it high into the zone, and it's down into the corner as it comes to the side of the goal. Played high to center ice. Gunnarsson up on the wing for Clarkson, tried to find Raymond, but that didn't work. Now the Bruins are back in over the line, leading 2-1. Lucic and Phaneuf battle for it along the boards. Smith got it back to the blue line, but not out. Here's Miller with it on the far side, swinging it around to the near wing. Down the boards comes Dennis Seidenberg, but it'll slide out and down the ice. And an icing charge is going to come here against Toronto, and it'll be brought back into the lead zone.
Tuukka Rask in the back-to-back situations getting a night off, and he has had an incredible year so far. Look at his numbers throughout his career. Under 2 again. Look at the save percentage at .934. And one of the things that he does so well is controlling rebounds. He is just unbelievable at it.
The Finns have a lot of choice in their goaltending, but I think Rask is probably going to be the starter. Would you agree?
I would think so.
Down into the corner, around back of the net, it comes for Marchand. Up on the right wing side, Bergeron trying to settle it down, got the shot away. Bernier cleared it into the corner. Played back to the Toronto net. Gardner hustling after it, but pinching down there is Torrey Krug. Now Gardner battles with Krug and Bergeron. And trying to move it out is Jay McClement, but Krug keeps it in. His shot is off the mark wide. Marchand playing it back to the blue line to Krug, quickly over on the far side, long shot blocked. Here's a race for it with Kuhlman racing after it. Trying to get into position with McClement. Here's Kuhlman with it again. Lets the shot go, and through traffic, it is eyeballed by Chad Johnson into the glove.
Kuhlman, if he can just keep going in straight lines and at least make the opposition haul you down, I think you're better off. And he stops and looks for a turn back. And when he does that, everybody gets back into position. Just keep going. Those straight lines right to the net. But there's that slow down there. He waits for things to develop in front of him. And a routine save is the end result. At least if you keep your legs pumping and go to the net, if nothing else, you'll draw a penalty, similar to what Lucic did earlier in this period by just driving the net and continuing on.
Miller plays it back to the goal. Chara with it now up on the left wing for Paille. And he'll diagonally shoot it into the far corner. Ranger had it knocked away by Campbell. They battle forward in there along with Jordan Caron. And it's stolen and brought out by Van Riemsdyk and shot down into Boston territory. Johnson deciding what he wants to do with this. Pumps it around the boards. Cut off there by the Leafs. Kessel. Now back to the blue line. Cody Franson with a weak shot to the side of the goal. And it was deflected by Van Riemsdyk, but he in effect stopped it. Now he has it around back of the net. Trying to swing in front. Oh, what a save by Johnson that was as Franson came roaring in from the right point. Best save of the game right there.
Hit him. I mean, Franson just wired it towards the net and hit him right in the crest.
Icing call against Boston. So Chad Johnson makes his best save on Cody Franson by just being there.
Yeah, I mean, he was in position, so give the goaltender credit, but I don't think he really he saved it till he hit it. It hit him, and here's the situation. He gets down, good butterfly, and makes himself big, and Franson hits him right in the chest.
He's going to score a goal here pretty soon if he's not careful. Franson, who's got 14 or 15 assists, hasn't scored.
No, done everything but. Earlier in the week, he rang one off the crossbar. He'll be talking to himself again on that one.
He had 4 goals last year in the 45 games to go with 25 assists for 29 points. The Leaf defense just has not been able to score. Last night, the goal by Gardner was just the team's 4th, and one of them's an empty netter by Paul Ranger. Offside at the Boston blue line. 6:49 to go in the second period. The Bruins, with a pair of power play markers, have taken the lead. The Leafs have had just 4 shots on goal in this period.
Without Chara on the ice, on comes the Kadri line.
Drop back for Lyles. He fires it in. Johnson slows it up. Van Riemsdyk chasing. Kessel as well. Played out into the center ice area, and Lyles will have to go back. There's Ranger. Up ahead for Kessel. Kessel turns. Works his way to center. Onto the left wing side for Van Riemsdyk. Van Riemsdyk into the slot for Kadri. Bounced over a stick. Taken to the boards efficiently there by Spooner. And it is played high to center ice. Bruins can't get their defense exchange. And it's back for Kessel. Kessel to the line. To Kadri. Kadri going wide. Backhand pass in front of the goal. Knocked away. And Spooner's going to get it out. Seidenberg will get to the red line. And in it goes. And the change is made as the shot goes wide of the Leaf net. Krug at the blue line doesn't shoot it at the goal, but plays into the corner. Now he'll shoot it at the goal. Pad save, rebound. Knocked away there by Bernier. Smith hits it to Kessel. Onto the wing to Phaneuf. To the red line. In it goes. And changes for both teams are being completed. 2 Leafs collide in the center ice area. Phaneuf and Kessel. Now Lucic works in with a shot. Blocking arm save. Bouncing shot goes high. Off a stick into the screen. And out of play. Both players seem to be all right after their collision in front of the Leaf bench.
Dion Phaneuf played 28 minutes plus in Ottawa last night, which is high for him. And in this back-to-back situation, the little things you lose a bit of an edge. This is Phaneuf coming over. That puck has to be hard, deep in. He throws it in halfway. A lazy change by Kessel. Phaneuf trying to get back into the play, and the end result is a huge collision. And those are the little things that just happen when your details aren't quite what they should be. And Phaneuf going over and saying, "You okay?" I mean, oh boy.
I hope they don't credit him with a hit.
Yeah, that had to hurt. That had to hurt.
It hurt worse than a body check. Both players, when they see the collision's about to happen, try to ease up on it. And when you do that, you end up probably injuring yourself more than if you tried to level a guy. There's a shot that's deflected into the screen in front of Bernier. Face-off will be in the Toronto zone. Injuries are brought to you by Sokoloff Lawyers. Seriously injured? Don't put it off. Call Sokoloff, the personal injury experts. Visit areyouhurt.ca. There's the list of 3 of the Leafs who are walking wounded. We could add Joffrey Lupul to that list. Hopefully coming off The IR shortly. Played back to the blue line to Krug. Far side, fanning on the shot was Lucic. Into the corner now for Phaneuf. It comes to the side of the net. Bernier will hold on to it. Iginla gives Carl Gunnarsson a bit of a shove. Now Phaneuf and Iginla, who were teammates in Calgary, having a bit of a word. Krejci in there as well.
The shots 12-4 in favor of the Boston Bruins in the second period, and it's been all Boston after they score a couple of power play goals. And ever since then, Toronto has not been able to get out of their own end. And Harry, you mentioned it earlier about the career this guy has had, and it is a remarkable career for Jarome Iginla.
Boy, he has been a dandy, and he doesn't look like he's finished yet.
And when Joe Nieuwendyk was traded for him, a lot of people wondered, who is Jarome Iginla? Only found out in a big hurry. And one's in the Hall of Fame, and the other has got his ticket punched. Giveaway, Bergeron back to the goal, centers it front of the net, post! That rang off the far post, and now Van Riemsdyk trying to work it in on the backhand, and he had it knocked away at the last second. A leap giveaway and almost the game given away. Bergeron on the right wing side, Smith into the corner, taken down by Gardner. Marchand gets it back to the point. Long shot by Seidenberg was stopped, and now Franson back of the net, plays to an open corner, and Gardner skates to get there. Marchand couldn't make a play, but it's around back to the Toronto goal again. Franson ties his man up, Marchand centers, and a quick one-timer by Bergeron is stopped by Bernier.
Well, a couple of good chances to score from the cycle for the Boston Bruins, and here's a poor reverse earlier by Franson that goes south on him, and that sets up this swift chance right off the crossbar. And then the Leafs counter-attack. Great speed by Van Riemsdyk, and Seidenberg, he might be one of the most underrated defensemen in the league. What a terrific defensive play there. And then again, the Bruins get back into the Leafs zone, the same line, the same forecheck, the same result, but Bernier with a good save.
And a side, they score! Shot from the blue line, Kevin Miller. Another face-off win, and Kevin Miller has his first National Hockey League goal.
In this, his 5th game, and he was recalled because of the current injury situation with Boston.
Right off the draw, was back to the point, and Miller just throws it right between the legs of Jonathan Bernier, who wants this one back. Soderberg with the draw, looked like a skipper on Bernier, and it went right in the 5-hole, and not a good goal for the goaltender.
There aren't a lot of first National Hockey League goals, the pucks anyway, displayed in Los Angeles, California. Well, that is where Miller is from. Here's a pass deflected back away on it. Big save made by Johnson as the Leafs almost got that one back in a hurry. And Kessel frustrated there at the side of the net.
Boy, that's a pretty darn good save here by the youngsters. He just drags that one pad down. Van Riemsdyk starting to get his speed game going again. And there's Kessel in perfect position. Takes 3 or 4 chances at it. Johnson here just lays that pad down, but it's difficult sometimes to keep it down. And he does it a couple of times as Kessel whacks away, trying to put it in the short side.
So the Bruins have opened a 2-goal lead. Laid back along the boards. Kessel trying to get around. Can't. Still has it. Kessel chased by Campbell. Centered in front for Kadri. And it is pushed to the line, but not out. Lyles is able to play it back in for Van Riemsdyk. To Kessel in the far corner. To the point, the Ranger. And a quick shot is deflected by Kadri just wide of the goal. Launched high to the line. Lyles is able to knock it down. Back into the corner for Kadri. Back of the net now for Van Riemsdyk. Played to the blue line for Ranger. Ranger quickly back for Van Riemsdyk, and now to Kessel. Kessel to the point. Ranger a drive and a bullet shot. Steered wide of the net by Johnson. Cleared out at center ice. Ranger sends it back, but it's going to end up in the bench and out of play. And there'll be a face-off coming in the center ice area.
Van Riemsdyk, where he normally is, right in front of the net. And there was some discussion with all the depth. Ooh, he could have maybe get called there for goalie interference. He was in the blue paint. With all the depth of the U.S. team up front, if Van Riemsdyk would actually be there, and I can tell you, there is no doubt that Van Riemsdyk will be on the U.S. Olympic team from all indications, as he should be.
Soderberg with a goal and an assist, his 4th multi-point game of the season for Boston. Came over in a trade with St. Louis. And here's Gardner carrying it out. Slows up, now shot in. Back of the net is Johnson, and he has to scamper back into the cage. As trying to get it in front of the net was David Clarkson. Along the boards, played to the blue line and out and down the ice. This is icing, as it will be called by Mike Civic, and it'll be brought back into the Boston zone to the left.
Canada Shots at shop.ca, Canada's largest store. Visit shop.ca/Toronto to sign up for a special offer.
It has been a prototypical second period for the Boston Bruins.
That is their best period? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Well, that and just the way they play. They take advantage of the opportunities. They're a very opportunistic team. They cut down the shots against. And the Leafs have not generated a lot. Here's Kessel to Van Riemsdyk, no, and he whistled that one wide. Kessel in the corner, laid out and down the ice by Boston. And it'll be brought back into the Bruin zone. And the Leafs will leave the Van Riemsdyk. No, they won't. Make a player change. Smith comes on with Clarkson and Raymond. 1:55 to go here in the second period. 1-0 Toronto after the first, but 3 goals from the Boston Bruins here in the second. Clarkson works into the corner. Iginla got a piece of him. Around on the boards, it's going to sail all the way out and down the ice again.
You know, Boston, they keep doing this. Sooner or later, you get burnt. The only thing about the Bruins that they get away with a little bit more than a lot of teams is because they are so good at winning draws.
It's the 3rd icing that these 5 Boston Bruin players are on the ice for.
The draw to the right, and Iginla is taking the face-off against Smith. Trevor Smith won it cleanly. Put up for the shot. That was directed a couple of times in front of Johnson, but he may have got a piece and it went wide. Off the boards then by Carl Gunnarsson. Cleared back into the Toronto end. And on the far side, it's sent for Gunnarsson to the near wing. In front of his own goal, he banks it, but it is Krejci stepping in for Iginla. Iginla around back of the net, trying to set it. Lucic taken to the boards, trying to one-hand it back to Chara, and does. Returned for Lucic. Shot from an angle is wide. Far side for Miller again. He throws it into the near corner. Lucic centers. Step free in front of the goal. And it's tipped wide of the net by Iginla. Less than a minute to go in the period. Both teams played yesterday. And a shot is smothered by Bernier. The face-off coming in the Toronto zone to the left.
This is the 4th game in 6 nights for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and they look like they're getting a little tired in this period versus the first period where I thought they played pretty well.
And meanwhile, the Boston Bruins, they had 4 days off this past week before playing a set of games against Montreal and then against Pittsburgh, of course, last night. So they've had a bit of a rest as a team the last 7 or 8 days.
Well, if your schedule's good, you know one thing, it's going to get bad.
At the blue line, Seidenberg knocked down, but got it on the wing. The shot is directed wide by Bernier. Gardner. And Kessel getting it out. It's stolen again by Smith. Offside at the Toronto blue line. As Marchand was coming in on the right side.
You love the way Kessel scores, but he is 6th in the league in turnovers. When he tries to get a little bit too creative, that's when he gets himself in trouble. He gets away with it there as the Bruins are offside.
Face-off won by the Leafs, but Clement with Kuhlman and Holland, who takes the pass on the right wing. Holland into the slot, bouncing disc And it's cleared out into the center ice area, and Brad Marchand racing after it, but Gardner got back to chip it out. Bruins back in, Marchand. Marchand turns at the near half boards, back to the point. Chara's drive, kicked away by Bernier. Seidenberg with 6 seconds left in the period, and the damage will have been done. The Leafs get the puck out into the center ice area. 3 unanswered goals. Soderberg, Krug, and Miller. And the Boston Bruins will go to the dressing room after 2, up by a pair. A look at the ice time leaders, and in attempts at the net, the Bruins dominated the second period. 31 efforts to the goal, 17 shots, 9 were blocked, 5 missed. The Leafs had 19 directed towards Chad Johnson, and the 3 unanswered second period goals have the Bruins leading by a score of 3-1. Off the boards, Chara sends it back for Miller. Miller plays it ahead, and Iginla will steer it over the line. Got it back to Miller. Miller's shot is ramping off a stick up into the screen, out of play. So it'll be brought back and to the circle to the left of Jonathan Bernier.
One thing for sure you knew before the game, that Chara would be on the ice as often as possible against Kessel. And he was in the first 2 periods, 15 of 19 shifts by Kessel. And Kessel had 6 shifts that were under 20 seconds as Carlisle trying to get away from that matchup that Julian wants.
Miller at the blue line, laid down into the corner. They have made a correction on the Leaf goal in the first period. David Clarkson now gets an assist. He has the puck with a shot that is easily handled by Johnson. But now reads Holland for Clarkson and Gardner. Raymond does not get the assist.
One of the things that Boston do very well is make sure they know their assignments and box players out so their goaltender can see the puck. And it was Miller that time that took Raymond and just pushed him out of the way, so he didn't have any chance at all of getting in front of the goalie.
And most of the time, the third forward, the high forward in the offensive zone, gets his rear end in action and comes back, looks around to pick up the third man on the rush. When it looks like it's a 2-on-2 that could turn into a 3-on-2.
Leafs win the draw, got a shot away, the rebound! Score! Jay McClement!
Anything the Leafs wanted was an early goal to take a run at the Boston Bruins.
It's been one of those nights where faceoffs have been important and a big part of the game. The Leafs win this one cleanly, and then McClement jumps right by his center iceman to get in position in front of the net to get the rebound. Kuhlman throws it towards the net. Good save to begin with, but McClement beats his center iceman here, right to the front of the net, and makes no mistake as Soderberg let him go. And he just spin right off him, perfect ISO. And there's Jay McClement. They get the Leafs some life here early in period number 3.
So it is a 1-goal game. And the Bruins back to the blue line now. Seidenberg steps around a sprawling defenseman. Big save, rebound in front, down is Bernier. And the puck comes back to the blue line. Another shot stopped in front. And it'll be corralled by McClement. He is upended, but the Leafs are able to clear it out. Across the line, McClement Trying to get it away there from Riley Smith as it goes back to the net. Cody Franson spins it back behind for Gardner as the Bruins are heading for a change.
And that's what good teams do to you. They get scored against, and then they come right back with a good shift. That was a good shift for the Boston Bruins as they hem the Leafs in. Let's see if the Leafs here can respond with their big line out.
Kadri into the corner for Kessel. Taken away by Torrey Krug, and now Campbell turns, and here is Chara. A pass up on the left wing side. Shot into the zone by Smith. And around on the boards it comes to the near wing. Holland does a two-point night. He gains an assist on the goal. So the Leafs, who have been crying for some secondary scoring, have gotten it here tonight in the form of Holland and McClement. But the Bruins have done a nice job of negating the Leafs' top line as an icing call comes here.
The third period of tonight's Leafs TV broadcast from Toronto is brought to you by Tim Hortons, official coffee of the NHL, and by the Toronto Rock. The Rock hosts Calgary in their home opener on Friday, January 3rd at Air Canada Centre. For the best ticket in town, visit TorontoRock.com.
Draw one by the Bruins. Chara steps around back to the goal. And now dishes it back for Miller, who gets it up. A turnover. Miller able to play it out at center ice. This is down into the zone, but icing is waved off, and the change for Claude Julien's team is made. Lyles for Ranger. I don't think any Leaf touched that, or did. Well, now the change they did. No icing here, and a hit there sends Jerry D'Amico to the ice, and a penalty is coming here for boarding. So the Leafs, who just got back into the game, now get an opportunity to go and tie the game with their power play. Button up your seat if you're in the living room. You're about to get hit.
Yeah. And there it is as the head goes right against the glass. That's a good call. Bang. He nails D'Amico's head right into the glass, and those are the calls that you like to see called.
He shook his head to make sure it was still on his shoulders.
2 minutes, 43 seconds, the time of the penalty, and all of the Leaf power plays in tonight's Leafs TV broadcast from Toronto, brought to you by Just Energy. Energy made easy. Down the ice it goes. And the second power play opportunity of the game for Toronto, and they have the second best power play in the league. Down into the corner. Kadri, a bit of a speed wobble as Van Riemsdyk is in there. All three Leaf forwards trying to free it up. Chara standing off to the side as Miller is doing a good job of pinning it with that skate. This is exciting. This is how you sell tickets. Out back to the point for the
skate shark.
Yeah, a shot by Kessel. And Johnson had a quick glance, but it's underneath his pad. And he holds on.
And the Leafs here on the power play, but moments before this, let's not forget the save that Bernier made after the Leafs scored the goal, and a redirect comes right back and kicks out his left pad, and then found the rebound also. And this was a difficult save through traffic that was redirected. What a terrific left pad save to keep the score at just 3-2.
Off to the right of Chad Johnson.
Certainly not the Billon game I thought it might be.
No, it hasn't been, has it? Draw one by the Leafs. Lyles, middle of the ice, far side. Gardner gives it back to him. Lyles tried to make a little tip play in there for Raymond that didn't work out. Now Clarkson trying to get it back to the blue line as it cut off. And Krejci sends a long shoot in wide of the Leaf goal. Jake Gardner with 56 seconds left in the penalty. Slowly to center, on the wing to Lyles. Bounced off the boards to himself, plays it around, back of the net to the near side. Mason Raymond being challenged as he works back to the blue line. Raymond skates to the far wing. Had his stick explode on him, and it shot out and down the ice.
Quite a few sticks blow up tonight, have there not? Mostly Leaf sticks.
I'm going to get Wood Stick Company making them again. There's a chance for Gardner. Around the boards to the far side. And Riemsdyk, side of the goal, back to the blue line. Fanuk, he doesn't shoot it. Dishes it off now for Gardner. His shot is blocked by Chara. And it is off the boards to center ice. Jordan Caron rolls it in on goal and steered ahead by Bernier, but Kessel steps back. Penalty has expired. Seidenberg is back on. Phaneuf to the line and in. Trying to play it in deep. Cut off by Krug. Phaneuf got to him. Puck is back of the goal and played around on the boards to the near side. Riley Smith didn't see it. Now back in for the Toronto Maple Leafs into the corner. Kadri after it. Played by the Bruins out at center ice. And will be chopped back and then to the blue line and back down into Toronto territory. Carl Gunnarsson circles the goal, got away there from Marchand. Up ahead it goes to Kadri. Kadri across the line, rolled it in but couldn't get it to Kessel, and it's back out the other way. Ranger and Carl Gunnarsson. Peter Holland, his first career multi-point game, and he's on the attack again. Has it back into the corner. Holland looking for a man in front. Took a shot, it went off a leg. Barging in there is Ranger to play it into the far corner, and Lucic will be challenged by Holland as Seidenberg sends it around into the near corner.
I've enjoyed watching Holland's game tonight. He's worked extremely hard. He's been around the puck all evening.
He's around it again. Played around back of the net. And that goes into the crowd. Kevin Miller is off to the penalty box. And the Leafs will get another opportunity with the man advantage when we return.
Well, that delay of game penalty, we watched it once tonight already, and this time it's Miller's turn. Puck rolling a little bit on him. He's trying to go off the glass and out, just flips up, and when it flips up and over top of the glass it goes.
Actually, it was Agent 86. Wouldn't you believe it was delay of game? So Van Riemsdyk and Kessel joined by Kadri. Maxwell Schmart is in the penalty box. Kadri being motioned off. It comes back to the blue line. Phaneuf blocks the blue line. Back to Kessel. A shot. A slap shot from Kessel. You don't see that very often. Kessel in the corner. Back to Phaneuf. Branson on the far side. Steps around one. Down low for Van Riemsdyk, but the stick of Chara ended up deflecting that out of play.
Tonight's Leafs TV broadcast from Toronto is brought to you by Molson Canadian, diehard fan and proud partner of the Leafs.
Jerry D'Amigo not on the bench, I don't believe, after that hit from Seidenberg. And this guy's been a factor in this game all game long, and there is a pretty good block by him also.
Ripped around the boards by Bergeron. Phaneuf can't keep it in. Branson steps out from behind. Drops now for Phaneuf. Phaneuf carries to center. He'll drop for Kessel. Kessel mishandles the puck and it's shot down the ice. They'll try it again. Phaneuf coming out. A quick pass trying to spring Franson, who was up ahead of the play. Played by Seidenberg back of the goal. And this is going to be launched out and down the ice on a bounce. But Bernier almost gave that puck away.
By the way, D'Amigo now back on the bench, so that's good news. So he's okay.
Here's Phaneuf on the wing. Kessel carries to the line on the left side. Banks it back for Phaneuf. Just kept in at the blue line. Now Kessel working the near boards back to Phaneuf. Phaneuf holds. Kessel takes his pass. Saucered back. Phaneuf doesn't one-time it. Far side, Gardner, the guard. Big rebound in front, and again it's cleared out and down the ice as they did a great job of keeping the Leafs away from the rebound in front of the net.
Nice puck movement by Toronto there as Kessel gets double teamed. That means somebody has to be open. They move it back to the point and then find the far side of the ice away from Kessel.
Gardner surprised that he was able to skate right almost through the defense. They kept waiting for the dish off and it didn't come. Clarkson into the corner, around to the near side. Seidenberg trying to free it up, and he does, getting it out at center ice. Lyles skates back in his own zone. The penalty is expired. The Leafs are 0-for-3 with the man advantage. Special teams here tonight are the difference. Pass by Lyles goes off the stick into the zone. Seidenberg to the far wing. Krug carrying it ahead, and it is shot in rather by Bartkowski. And now a bouncing puck in the slot area. Krejci to the far boards. Back to Bartkowski, a shot. And down is Bernier to smother that with 11 minutes and 20 seconds to go, third period. Jay McClement from Kuhlman and Holland have got the Leafs within one.
I'm going to show you this power play again, because when Kessel gets on the half board, you'll watch Boston. They'll go right to him. That leaves the point man open. Now Boston has to go to the point. Now that leaves the other side open. Somebody has to be open when you're that aggressive. Good work by the Leafs to move it from one side of the ice to the other to get a good chance to score in the power play.
Krejci and McClement battle for the face-off. The Leafs control it. Holland with a long alley-oop. Hustling after it is Bartkowski with Kuhlman chasing him. Kuhlman can't get his stick away from Bartkowski, but the puck comes free to the near side. A long shot, right on, stop. Here's a chance for Holland around back of the net. One of the Bruins has lost his stick, and it's cleared out into the center ice area, and Bartkowski can go and retrieve his twig. Holland got it out and brought on by Carl Gunnarsson. Gunnarsson slides it into the corner. Kevin Miller goes back to the net. Right now it is Miller's goal, his first in the NHL. That's the difference. He has the puck in the corner. Around back of the net, Miller steers it off, and out come the Bruins now at center ice. Seidenberg sips his way across the line, drops it off there for Soderberg. Soderberg into the corner with a shot, and he sent it wide. Seidenberg on the far side. A pass in front of the net, and Soderberg couldn't get there to redirect, but Campbell is onto the puck for Boston. Left along the wall, Gardner trying to fish it out from underneath the fallen player, Soderberg. And the Leafs are able to push it to center, and Van Riemsdyk gets it out. Chara to the near side for Krug. Talk about the long and short of it. They have Chara on one side at 6'9", and Krug pushing maybe 5'8" or 9 on the other side of the defense tent. And an icing charge coming against Toronto.
And with the Bruins being down to 5 defensemen like they have been all game long for the most part, you got Chara now at 21 minutes.
Gregory Campbell playing his 599th NHL game, and his father, Coley Campbell, played 636. That's a fairly good father and son routine, isn't it?
Yeah, it sure is. You talked about his sisters being in attendance. Craig, I think I saw them prior to the game with a lot of little nephews coming along with Gregory Campbell jerseys on. I jokingly asked if their mother had washed their Leaf jersey, and they had to wear that. They seem to be fairly disciplined in the idea that that was their jersey. Around on the boards near side.
Now they're a close family, and Gregory, of course, with the 2 older sisters.
Here's Raymond in over the line. Raymond taken down from behind there by Ryan Spooner. Far side for Lyles. Lyles chips it into the corner. Bartkowski back to the net. Miller ringing the boards. Ranger keeps it in, and his shot went wide of the net. Lyles pinches. The puck comes out. Ranger has it again. Ranger off a skate and cleared into the lead zone then by Matt Fraser. Bernier to Lyles. Lyles getting it ahead, but an icing charge is coming here against Toronto with 8 minutes and 29 seconds to go in the third period, and the Bruins leading 3-2. A game that was somewhat reminiscent of the games in the playoffs.
Leafs fans, Phillips wants to see your game face. Tweet your game face photo and include hashtag Phillips Game Face, or visit mapleleafs.com/Phillips, and your face could appear on a rink board here at the Air Canada Centre. Plus, you can win other great prizes.
I would pay money to see Paul Hendrick's face on a rink board, wouldn't you?
Darts, not pucks.
No.
I've seen his face in the post office. Wanted dead or alive with a line crossed out.
Bernier plays it in front of his own goal, and Smith. Now they're going to call this a deliberate offside by the Bruins, And so it's coming into Boston territory when we return. The Leafs trail by 1 here. Anything for Hockey brought to you by Molson Canadian, diehard fan and proud partner of the Leafs.
A quiet player that gets so much done for the Boston Bruins, and Dennis Seidenberg and Bob McGill being a former defenseman. You must really appreciate what this guy brings game in and game out.
Well, it's amazing too, guys. You know, he's such a workhorse. Him and Chara together log so much ice, and they're so valuable to this hockey club. It's something you can't put a number on. And folks, if you get an opportunity, he's the only guy in the National Hockey League. He wears those. They're really a weird skate blade. They're not a tuck or whatever. I can't remember the name of them, but it's really different.
Here's McClement in the corner. Kuhlman trying to free it up. Gets it back towards the blue line, but it's going to come out over the line. And Iginla unable to break there. Spinook goes down. Iginla goes awkwardly into the sideboards. The Leafs get it out at center. And turning back with it is Peter Holland. Holland dishes off to Phaneuf. Phaneuf to the near side to Gunnarsson. Up on the left wing to Jay McClement. McClement hits the line onto the right wing side. Played on the backhand then by Holland back of the net. McClement comes out with it. Centers! And Phaneuf was coming down the chute, but it was out of his reach. A lead pass. We're going to call this icing. As it split the defense, and it'll be brought back into the Toronto zone.
Well, Randy Carlyle knows the team still got a chance to win this hockey game with 7:20 to go. They got the big goal early in the period. And can they rescue another game that they've been outshot in, but not as badly tonight as most nights.
32-25 at this particular point. Leafs had gone 5 games without a win. A 5-game losing streak. But after the 2 wins, they can reassess it to say they've gotten points in 4 of their last 6 games.
You can do that every 6 games, they'll end up in a good spot.
Along the boards is Ranger. Got it pinned to the wall as it's carried by Smith back of the net. Chasing there was Spooner, and the Leafs are able to get it out. Cleared back in, and Smith has it again. Gunnarsson, rink wide for Ranger. He shoots it into the zone, and down the boards it goes. Round back of the net for Bartkowski. Laid up on the right wing, and out at center ice it comes. Nice backhand pass to Spring Paille. Shot pad save and a rebound. Cleared away by the Leafs, and now Raymond starts back. Raymond for Clarkson. Clarkson dropping it back at the blue line. The pass in front for Raymond went astray. Smith's shot goes wide. Lyles trying to keep it in and has. Off on the wing to Raymond. Raymond with a shot blocked in front of the net. Cleared by the Bruins, and Paille's in a foot race. Raymond trying to cut him off as it comes into the slot for Campbell. Down low. What a save made by Bernier. Holy Mackinac. The Leafs come back. You better circle that one. Launched high by Lyles into Boston territory. 5:55 to go. Bergeron shoots it in. Bernier for Gardner. Gave the puck away. Still free in front of the net. Back to the point to Chara. Near side now for Smith. Riley Smith turns. Miller to Chara. Long shot off the glove of Bernier wide. Smith keeps it in, but Gardner comes away with it. Got it ahead. Van Riemsdyk for Kessel, but Chara, who carries a tree instead of a stick, got that knocked away. Branson turns at his own blue line. Out of Jake Gardner. Ahead for Van Riemsdyk with Kadri and Kessel. Van Riemsdyk banned on his shot. Rebound at the side of the net. Kessel to Kadri back of the goal. Off the boards to Cody Franson and a shot. That went off a skate and Kessel couldn't handle the rebound. Back to the blue line to Gardner. Now to Franson. Off a leg, it's Karen back to the near side. Gardner can't keep it in. And Lucic spears it ahead, and here's Iginla in. Man going hard to the net is Krejci. The pass came to him, but by then he had gone past the goal, and his chance at net was pretty much demolished. Huge save here by Bernier to keep it at 3-2. The delivery of the game is presented by Purolator. Excitement delivered.
Well, a couple of key saves here in this third period by Bernier. There's one with his left pad and the redirect, and then moments ago, what a save there on Caron as he comes across and makes a terrific save, and that might be a game saver here as he's been able to keep the Leafs in this game in the third period. And there's a lot of time left to get your goalie out, get the extra tackler with 4:38 to go, and the Leafs just have to continue to keep going and try and spend a little more zone time in the Boston zone here and put lots of pucks at the net as there have been rebounds available all night long on Johnson.
Follow at Maple Leafs and the TML Talk hashtag on Twitter for a chance to win great prizes.
It's the 11th time Bernier has faced 35 or more shots. He's 5-4-1 with a .935 save percentage in those games. Krejci dishes it off to Lucic. Lucic back to the point to Chara, and that was whistled wide of the goal. Seidenberg carries into the corner. Bruins want to just have some zone time down here. Out back of the net, Phaneuf pushes it up the boards, and Kessel starts out. Kessel chopping it ahead for Kadri. Left wing side, Van Riemsdyk. Pass in front of the net. Lucic back checking, took it away from Kessel, and now gets it out at center. Lucic stepped around Phaneuf. Lucic going to the net. Center! Bernier down, they score!
This is an unbelievable shift by Lucic. And he's been somewhat quiet all game long, but he comes back, first of all, on the back check on Kessel. Right to the net with him. And then when he does that, how often do we say good defensive plays turns into good offense? There he is on Kessel. Now he just takes off. Phaneuf's caught flat-footed, becomes a 2-on-1, and then he takes it wide. Iginla goes right to the net and finds some room between Bernier's legs as he powers by Kessel, powers by Phaneuf, powers by Gunnarsson, and throws it to a wide-open Iginla for a beautiful-looking goal by the Boston Bruins.
He may be having his best season. He lost his confidence a year ago until the postseason, but he leads this team in scoring now.
You know why he did? Because he came to camp out of shape. Plain and simple. Most will tell you that after the lockout, coming out of the lockout, he wasn't in good shape. And he never really caught up last year until, like you said, Joe, in the playoffs, where he really started to get on fire and get it rolling again. And this year he came in real good shape, and he's reaped the benefits. There's no doubt about it. Now they're looking to see if this was kicked in or not, and the play's gone upstairs, up, to me, right off the stick of Iginla, but is it over the goal line? It is the second time for sure.
Took a while to get in there, but yeah.
It is there.
You can see it in the back of the net.
Yep.
He stabbed the puck with his stick, right?
No question,
And
it's
then
the stick.
slid into the goalie.
So it's the stick. There goes the puck.
I don't know.
Over the line the
Just
first time.
over, yep. And then fished out by the Leafs, but it goes off Bernier's
After
pad
review,
again.
the ruling on the ice stands. It's a good goal.
Yep, good goal. No doubt about that one.
So Jarome Iginla, who has a big date in Calgary, gets a big goal here.
And they'll stay here tonight and charter out tomorrow morning.
6th of the year for Iginla. And Milan Lucic with his second point of the game. He now has 24, 11 goals and 13 assists.
We watched Daniel Alfredsson go back to Ottawa, and what a great job the Ottawa fans did in his return, and I expected Calgary will do exactly the same thing for Iginla when he goes back there in a couple of nights.
No question about that.
Cleared into the Boston zone. Seidenberg sending it around, and then Paille stepped into his man. Here's a loose puck in front, and it's snapped wide of the goal by Kadri. Going to the bench is Lyles after that collision. Here's Kadri in for Kessel. Kadri again, left it for Kessel, who comes off the boards. Back to the point, the Ranger, quickly over on the far side. Gardner's shot was deflected wide of the net. Bruins have done an excellent job of cooling out the Leafs' top line. And when they did get some secondary scoring, the big line has been shut down. Played by the Bruins. Icing call coming. 3 minutes and 2 seconds left to play here in period number 3. Leafs remain in town and don't play again for a couple of nights.
Well, after playing 4 games in 6 nights, I don't think they'll let him in the rink tomorrow.
LA here on Wednesday, then they're in St. Louis on Thursday. That's our next Leaf TV broadcast. Here's a loose puck in front. Yeah, Bernier started for the bench, but then when the Bruins got it out into the center ice area, he thought better of it. Now he's going to the bench, and now he's coming back. That's an icing call.
He's getting a workout there, isn't he? Going halfway to the bench and back twice.
2:49 left to play in the third period. The Leafs trying to get Bernier out for a 6th attacker. Here's the hit on Lyles.
Yeah, and he went directly over the bench afterwards.
2 years ago, he took a big hit in Buffalo and was out for a while. Here's Gardner around back of the net. Bernier edging towards the bench, and now he goes. Smith drops it back for Raymond. The shot went deflecting wide. Went up at the blue line, gave the puck away, and then Bergeron gives it away. He got hooked. There's going to be a penalty here to Boston. And then Phaneuf and Miller is in a lot of discomfort down in the corner.
That was a shot from behind by Phaneuf, similar to the one in the first period that Boston got the penalty on.
And the Boston defense are dropping like one after another, and this is a dangerous looking play here as Miller's in trouble. He goes right head first here from behind. Oh, right into the boards.
That's boarding though, isn't it? I mean,
that's a check from behind for sure, unless he turns into it.
Well,
and he doesn't.
Doesn't look like it.
No, he doesn't.
Wait and see how this is adjudicated by the officials. The Bruins were being assessed a penalty to start with.
And that was right on the numbers.
And Phaneuf is headed towards the penalty box as well.
No, he's not.
No, he's not. No, it is just Bergeron who gets the penalty.
That's a missed call.
Yeah, it is. Phaneuf wasn't trying to hurt him. He just trying to pin him against the boards.
Yeah.
And his head went in first.
So it's 17:43 played in the third period. Bergeron is in the box. The Leafs go to their 4th power play.
Yeah, Bergeron lost the puck, so there's no doubt that's the initial hook on Raymond. And the back official called that, and then after that, the hit by Phaneuf was left alone by the officials.
So the Leafs have a 2-man advantage here because the goaltender is out of the game. Van Riemsdyk down the boards. Into the corner for Kessel. Back to the blue line to Gardner. Settled down and sent to Phaneuf. Phaneuf back to Jake Gardner. Gardner to Kessel. Kessel stepping in. Down low to Clarkson. Clarkson with a centering pass. It comes in front. They bang away at it. And it comes back to the blue line. Gardner. Kessel. Lots of traffic in front. Clarkson is there, and so is Van Riemsdyk. Kessel trying to step in. Got the shot away, but it was blocked. And it's going to be grabbed off by the Bruins and sent to an empty net. Wide.
No gamble there because they're shorthanded. There's no icing, so you might as well when you're up by 2.
1:22 to play. Enough. Kadri. Off on the wing for Clarkson. Banked around the board. Seidenberg tied up by Van Riemsdyk. Played around on the wall. Gardner creeps in. And it's blocked. Nice play made there by the Bruins. Brad Marchand. Now on the near side for Kessel. Kessel into the corner. Trying to free it up. Gets it back again from Kadri to the blue line to Gardner. Time is of the essence, and Gardner is wasting some. Now the rush shot is stopped by Johnson, and there'll be a face-off in the Boston zone with 46.6 seconds to go.
Well, the Leafs got to put a guy in front of the net, but I'll tell you one thing. Does he take a pounding from Chara? You got to have guts to stand in there against that big guy.
A timeout being called here by Randy Carlyle. as the Leafs attempt to catch some lightning in a jar with not an awful lot of time to do the catching. And the faceoff will be in the circle to the left. Our Ford Nation post-game show coming up after the game here on Leafs TV from the Air Canada Centre. Analysis and lots of chat from the players and the coaching staff. Dave Farish trying to draw out a play that the Leafs can use off a face-off win. And they'll head to the face-off circle to the left of Chad Johnson, trying to improve his record to 5-1 in relief appearances of Tuukka Rask.
Well, the Boston Bruins had to basically go with 5D throughout the game, and Seidenberg's had a terrific game, but all over the ice. Chara and him together played over 24 minutes in this game, and there's his leadership abilities there, making sure everybody knows their assignment off the faceoff.
Draw scrummed. Kessel comes away with the loose puck. Centering pass in front, and Clarkson knocked it wide of the net. Back to the blue line to Phaneuf. Phaneuf works to the middle of the ice, winds and shoots. That's wide. Oh, and Clarkson couldn't get his skate to knock that puck down. Now Kessel a pass in front, cleared to the blue line, but not up. Franson to Kessel. Kessel a pass down low. Clarkson deflects, but it's wide of the net. It's centered in front. Clarkson knocked down twice, and out of the penalty box, Bergeron. With 11 seconds to go, the fifth Boston goal is into the empty net.
And there is no way that Gregory Campbell even knew he was coming out of the box. He just flipped it down the middle after the Leafs had a couple of pretty good looks in the slot. There's the flip job, and then Bergeron gets the gift coming out of the penalty box, and he'll just tap it into the empty net.
1949 is the time of the empty net goal from Patrice Bergeron.
Another one of his reliable nights.
His 9th of the season, and the Maple Leafs' 2-game win streak will come to an end here at home, where they will drop their 6th game against 10 victories. The Bruins will go to 42 points, but the difference in this game is going to be specialty teams.
Yeah,
Two power
second
play
period.
goals for the Boston Bruins, and the Maple Leafs go 0 for 4 with the power play, which had been their strong suit. Second in the NHL in proficiency. And there's the horn that ends the game. So the Bruins, who have dominated the Maple Leafs over the last 3 or 4 years, win the first 2 of their season series after their hard-fought playoff series a year ago.
Toronto played very well in the first period, but a big problem for them has been scoring goals on good opportunities, and it ended up costing them this game, because I don't think you're going to find that they were badly outchanced, and the shots were 40-32, which means Toronto had a few more than they have many other nights.
And that second period, Harry, they're right. They had a great first period of play, then they got themselves in penalty trouble, and they didn't kill off the penalties, and all of a sudden, an even game turned out to be a game where Boston gained the lead in period number 2.
Bruins outshoot the Leafs 40-32 and win it 5-2.